Hi everyone, it is me again, and if you don't know me, my name is Ben, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I say that because um, that's the field I'm in. That's where some of my passions are, and I love to talk about this stuff, and I'm always learning and growing, and and this field is shaping me, and that's actually what I wanted to talk about in this video. I just got back from a lunch with a friend and in between clients, and I love talking with him. Like he's someone that's so near and dear to me. He's like one of those friends for life kind of thing, as we're just journeying together and exploring and growing and finding ourselves in this life, and it's wonderful because we're both therapists, so obviously we're kind of on the same wavelength in a lot of ways, and like to think philosophically and deeply, and really such a special person to me. I'm so grateful for him in my life. And anyway, so I was telling him all this stuff that has just been going on in my week and in this past month, and well, he's known a lot of stuff that's going on in the past month, but at least this week alone, where there's just all of this, in a good way, this uprising of understanding, of this awareness. Things are clicking for me, and so a lot of things, and afterwards I'm driving back and I'm thinking about, okay, I just want to keep putting this stuff out there. Like, I've as I mentioned in the other video, like, I've been holding myself back because I've gotten scared and worried about how it's going to come across to people. And I'm like, but there's all this stuff that's in me. It's like there's this stuff in this cage that's trying to get out, and I'm the one keeping it in. So I just want to do this. So what I realized also this week is, as I've gone through this whole learning process, this kind of evolution of myself and understanding, as I've done all this recording, is I've wanted to talk about what matters to me and what lights me up, and in that is my message. In that is what is passionate to me, and I don't want to just share these things that I'm passionate about within the field, but just things that I love, that I'm passionate about in my life. But this is one of them. And I thought, because there was this whole thing that took place where I was talking about trust and therapy, and why that's, just the foundation of therapy, and why that is essential just in our human relationships alone, not just in therapy. And then I broke down videos of what creates that trust that I see and experience in my own connections with clients. But then it hit me this week was, I think, yes, I love talking about what excites me, and that's a part of this, but like, I don't know what it was about this word, but it shifted something for me. It actually created more excitement. It actually made more sense. Was, what if I talked about the things that I loved about therapy? What is it that I love specifically? Because everyone might have different things that they love about something. There's millions of us therapists, but we might love different things. We might love similar things. I love to golf, and I love golfing with some of the friends in my life, and some of them love maybe other aspects of it than I do. So what is it that, to me personally, what is it that I love? And I brought up my friend because we were talking about that, like this whole experience, and it just, that's why it occurred to me, like, just go and do this video. One thing that I love about the field of therapy and working with clients in a therapeutic way, in a reparative way, is this whole kind of posture, this open-hearted posture of exploring with them. I love that. And it's like, it's funny how things kind of play out in life, because there's, like in the past, before I even knew I wanted to go in the field, because I wasn't like, 6 years old thinking, oh, I want to sit in a chair and listen to people and the stuff that they've held inside for a long, like, I didn't have that desire. I wanted to be a pro golfer. But then when I got into grad school, or undergrad, I didn't know what I wanted to do. The only thing that kind of I had some interest in was criminal justice, partly because my dad was a federal marshal. He was in law enforcement most of his life. But there was something else that appealed to me. I loved the idea of like being a detective. And I admit it was probably, some of that formed from kind of those Hollywood stereotypes of this, so it was kind of a romanticized version of of being a detective, where I thought I'm going to wear a trench coat and a fedora, I'm in the dripping rain, and I'm smoking cigarettes, even though I don't smoke cigarettes. But in this case, I'm going to take up cigarette smoking because that's what detectives do. I'm going to have a gravelly voice, and a furrowed brow like this, and I'm going to look down at the clues and the body there, and I'm going to piece it all together. And it was like, in that, I loved the idea of a mystery and solving things. Why I didn't pursue that work was because I didn't want to be a street cop for a year or two, and to move up in the rankings and be aggressive and have to deal with aggressive people. Like, nah, not my thing. Or not myself be aggressive, but have to deal with aggressive people. It's like, nah, I'm okay with that. So I passed on that and then changed course. And anyway, there's more details to that. But I love the mystery. It's why I'm drawn to, like, I think that maybe there's a couple people in my friend group that like some of the stuff that I watch. But like, I went, what was it, a couple weeks ago, I went by myself because I like doing that. I went to the movies and I watched, there was this movie Barbarian. And I like certain like horror films, not like slasher, gory stuff, but I love things that have intrigue to them, that there's mystery, that there's twists and turns. Like, I love the movie Hereditary, and most people probably would not watch that because it has this kind of it's the supernatural, there's an evilness to it. But man, like the jaw dropping, like, oh my God, I can't believe that was it. Or that's what was going on the whole time. Like, I just love stuff like that. I also love like kind of those dark noir detective shows, like True Detective. There was something else too. There's other shows like within that genre that I really like, but yeah, like, I'm not a fan of like the NCIS stuff. No, nothing against that. I'm just, I'm not a fan of the kind of the same formula. And I don't know, what are they on, like NCIS Missouri or Nantucket, or I don't know. They've made so many of them, but my style is kind of that dark kind of, yeah. Anyway, just that noir kind of style. But it was always kind of the mystery, the unfolding experience, and it like occurred to me off and on in being a therapist and having my practice and working with clients, like, oh, this is like, and I think even more so now I've realized, like, this, like, people come in, like, I'm a mystery to myself. Like, people are these wonderful mysteries, right? And they're coming in and they've got all this stuff, beneath the surface. Of course, at the heart of it is, we want to feel safe. We want to trust the people in our life. We want to matter to people. We want to feel loved. We want to know our own voice and know who we are and live from that place of passion. And I mean, of course, that's the foundation. But there's all this stuff kind of in the way that we have to kind of bushwhack to get to that stuff. But I love the mystery. So when someone comes in with certain symptomatic complaints, like, there's stories underneath that. When couples come in, it's unraveling stuff together. If a family comes in, like, unraveling stuff together, it's so cool, and it's thrilling. And in the past, more so, there would be all this anxiety in me. I'd be afraid. I don't know what to do, because I would put all this pressure on myself. Like, I've got to have all this information, all this knowledge. I've got to think 30 steps ahead of the client and be on it and know what they're going to say and how they're going to say it and know which theory fits here. And I mean, you can hear, right, like, all the stress and pressure I put on myself. And really, it was so externally driven. Like, I forgot why I was passionate and drawn to the field and what I loved the most and how to connect with people from that place, just being myself, being honest, genuine, funny, self-disclosed, things like that. But yeah, because I was focused on the outcome and the client, and the outcomes of the client, that I took it on myself, that I was the one that I had all the answers. I had to bear it all. I was the one that took all the responsibility, and that just created all this stress. And it wasn't until opening my practice once again this year that I realized things like, oh, like, I'm kind of doing that detective work. Like, I'm exploring, but it's not like I have all the answers. Yes, I have certain things I can see, and I know how to connect in a way that draws stuff out. And in that sense, there's that expertise. But really, I'm solving this along with them. I'm discovering the answers together. And it's this cooperative experience, this co-exploration. Like, and that's the thing, is like, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to unfold. That's what's so exciting. Before, there'd be all this anxiety about the unknown and having to prep and get everything in place and get ready for whatever storms were going to happen. And that's not to say that sometimes that happen, like that will arise. But then there's, I think, a greater self-awareness of what I do and why I do it, which I will want to talk about in other videos. That like I can find that, I can return back to that place. It's like, I wander far off into the woods and worry, and fret about how the person's going to react to me and if they're going to be disappointed. But then I have to come back to, whoa, hang on here. Why am I doing this? Why does this matter to me? What is my role? Like, if I'm going to be this kind of fortune teller for everything, then I'm screwed, because that's just not how it works. But really, it's this, and that's how life works. It's this present experience, this unfolding discovery. That's what I love about life when I'm excited about life and not in this doom and gloom place. Is like, actually, like, life is this, it's about being connected in the moment. And not that we don't think about the past or future as well, but it's really being kind of indulgent, connected, and alive, and engaged in the moment, in the present moment, in ourselves, and walking through this, going through this unfolding mystery. Not even going through, that sounds passive. It's like it's entering through and being with it. And so really, like, the other thing too is that what I love about therapy, and that's what my friend and I were also talking about, is like, along with the exploration that I'm exploring with the client, it's like, actually, it's also teaching me. Like, when I'm with clients, because I was so frantic and stressed about having to have all the answers, what therapy has taught me in connecting with clients was, I don't have all the answers, and two, I don't have to have all the answers. In fact, the answers come in the moment when I connect with people. And this is, and clients have taught me, like, how to connect, how to engage, to be honest. I can see that sometimes, whether it's directly said or indirectly said through nonverbal reactions, that it's like, oh, I was kind of disingenuous there. Oh, it sounded like there was a judgment there in my voice. It sounded like, oh, like, and so, as much as like in the past, I would beat myself up because I'm like, damn it, I screwed up. But really, actually, what I was learning even recently, like, even the reactions that are happening, they're communicating to me, like, okay, what's going on? And that invites a conversation between me and the client, and it also invites an opportunity for me to reflect as well, and on what is taking place between us, what is getting in the way of connecting genuinely. It also, I mean, I can go on of what therapy's taught, and I will share that in different videos and maybe my podcasts or whatnot. But really, it's taught me what universally stirs within us, right? Wanting to feel safe and secure in life, wanting to know that we're loved, that we matter. I mean, that is what I believe kind of pulsates. That's at the heart of all of us, or most of us. And to me, it's also taught me how to engage openly. When I come at this place of, like, it's fear driven or from a fear driven place where I have to have all the answers, I'm rigid. I get locked into something. I see it a certain way. But really, when I'm interacting with a person, it's challenging that, to not come from so clients have inadvertently really been the educators for me, and that's what I love is that it's a joining together process. And I'll share another video about self-disclosure and why I self-disclose, and some really cool moments that have taken place from that. But I'm trying to think. I'm looking down my notes because I'm trying to think. Did I say everything I wanted to say? And I think I did. But that was something that really sparked this really energetic conversation between me and my friend. That we were just so touched that we get to be in this field and learn together, learn from the people that we're with, and what a change to go from I have to be this expert and professional and know it all and say it all, to like, no, I'm just joining the person. And yeah, there's things that I can piece together and understand based off of my own training, my own personal therapy experience, going through things in my life, and I can start to pick up on that stuff. But but it's not me looking down at the person or having just all these answers. And that's the reality too. Like, clients will come in and there might be this expectation, like, I've got to know it all, and I walk on water, and I know it all. And it's like, no, like, I'm a human being, and I intentionally I intentionally show that side, that I'm a human being. I laugh, I talk about my own life. I'll ask them for feedback in the sense of, like, am I getting it, or did I miss something there? Or if I blow it, and the client says something or reacts, and I'll say, like, you know what, I missed it. Or I'll come back in sessions and say, you know what, I didn't like how I reacted, and it creates this beautiful experience together. It's like, oh my God, this is what life is about. So anyway, yeah, for now that's it. I'm sure more will pop up in my head that I'm like, dang it, I wish I said that. But for now, I'm gonna leave it at that. So till next time.